In a previous video, I used 3 different size diameter pipe to create U siphons and tested the low flow start capability. And I found that the smaller the pipe diameter, the quicker it will draw the siphon. But what if you need to have a lot of flow out of a larger diameter pipe, but you don't have much flow rate going into the system? So today I've got my ram pump going, which is pumping out a little less than a gallon a minute. And I want to see how well this can start the U siphon. Now I have a feeling that it's not going to be able to pull this, which means it'll find an equilibrium state. So the water going in is the water coming out, and it never pulls the siphon. And that's where the Shishi Odoshi fountain is going to come into play. This will take whatever volume of water, and when it gets full, it will dump it all at once. And hopefully that will be enough to start this U siphon with the bigger diameter pipe. So let's test this out. To begin this test, I'm going to remove these components here that are a 1/2 inch and install this 3/4 inch here to get this test done. So the water is going to have to go basically above this point right here to pull the siphon, and it shouldn't be able to start just on its own, because the water that's going to come from the ram pump will be just enough to just trickle out of here without ever pulling that siphon. Introducing the ram pump water here. As you can see, it's not flowing very much at all. And let's see what happens when this reaches the top of that U siphon. So it's got to reach this point here before it starts flowing over. Okay, we're approaching the point where it's going to start going over here. There we go. Now, it's just a waiting game to see if this amount of water going in is enough to pull that siphon. Just as I predicted, the water going in is what came out, and it was never enough volume at once to start the U siphon. So now it's time to try out the Shishi Odoshi fountain. So I'm going to set it up here on top of this bucket, and that should allow it to dump into our test bucket here and give us some good results. Maybe it won't go flipping off here. That should be fun. All right, let's give it a try. Okay, I'm going to start filling up the Shishi Odoshi fountain here. Now I think that the U siphon is right on the edge of starting anyway, so maybe it'll only take one of these cylinders to fill this up and get it going. I'll have to see. Now I made this Shishi Odoshi in a previous video. I used a 3-inch pipe, so if I needed to have a much higher volume of water dump into the bucket, I could have gone with a 6 and even 8-inch pipe to get several gallons at a time. Because I'm not even sure this right here is going to be a full gallon that's going to dump in, so we'll just have to see. I believe it's getting close to the top now. Well, it would seem that the water dropped from this volume of pipe in this Shishi Odoshi fountain is not quite enough to get the 3/4 inch U siphon going. So let's drop it down to the 1/2 inch and see if that works. I've replaced that 3/4 inch U siphon with the 1/2 inch now. Let's see if this small amount of water is enough to get that going without having to dump the Shishi Odoshi fountain. I don't think that it will be, but we'll find out. Okay, got some water movement there. Well, I'm not seeing any U siphon action starting. Now I'm going to start filling the fountain up here, and we'll see if this is enough volume to get that 1/2 inch U siphon started. Now, of course, you can, like I said before, increase the volume of your fountain, and that would greatly improve the startability of this U-siphon. Now, in my next test, which is not going to be in this video, I'm going to do one more thing that I'm pretty sure is going to work for even the bigger U-siphons. And that is a siphon starting a siphon. So, say you had a bucket of maybe 10 or 15 gallons and you were using even one of these smaller 3/4 inch or 3/8 inch siphons. It could pull water from that into a bigger tank at a much higher volume or flow rate, and that way it could really get things going. So here we go. See if that'll do it. I think we got it. Oh yeah, nice. As you can see, it has pulled the siphon down here. It'll gulp here in just a moment when that reaches the end. There it goes. Well, that test was quick but effective, I believe. Whatever volume this is, probably less than a gallon, was enough of a flow rate here to start the 1/2 inch U-siphon. Not enough to start the 3/4 though, so I'd have to use either a 4-inch pipe or a longer fountain here to get that going. So good news. I'm glad we had some positive results on this. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up button and stay tuned for the next video where I attempt to use the siphon to start a siphon. Wow.